This is Pod Populi.
Podcast for the people.
The Great Love Debate. It's the Great Love Debate.
The Great Love Debate. It's the Great Love Debate.
Hi again, everyone. It's Brian Howie. Welcome to the Great Love Debate, the world's number one dating and relationship podcast. Since 2015, I am back here in the very fine studios of Pod Populi, podcast for the people. I'm at the one in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. And you get just me again, which probably not going to be too many of just me for a while because I got a whole lot of what I think are extremely eager and hopefully incisive guests lined up that I really think you guys are going to enjoy. So, but for this week, you get the a cappella Brian Christopher Howie sans accompaniment. And we are popping out of a holiday season as I record this and heading into a new year, which new thoughts and new ideas and new beginnings and all that good and sometimes very, very silly stuff. And I think you have hopefully assessed a year or maybe even a lifetime of experiences and stimuli and information, and you are where you are. Your thoughts, your ideas, your philosophies, your opinions. Lots and lots of those. I know I have lots and lots of those, and probably more than a few beliefs. What do you believe? Now, there's definitely things that you believe, and there are things that you know. And I think knowing what you believe is pretty important, and believing what you know is probably more important. As is knowing what you don't know. Hopefully, it's important in life, but it's hugely valuable in love. As a business owner, it's not only become apparent to me in the last few years, mostly because some very smart people have pointed it out to me, knowing what you don't know matters so much. And confusing what you know with what you believe is a really big mistake I think so many of us make in pretty much every aspect of life, especially and relevantly, love. So I hate to use religion as an example because it gets so many people emotional and freaked out, and I get a bunch of emails, which is probably a good thing. I mean, I made a comment at one of our live shows last year that I think if we are honest about it, we're all agnostic, meaning the existence of whatever is truly unknowable. The atheists always freak me out because they're absolutely positive there's nothing. They're sure about it. They know there's nothing. That's what they think. And if you're, believe in one of the other 3,000 or so religions, and those religions blur the line between believing and knowing, which is kind of ironic because, fundamental part of Christianity is they use the term believer because they believe they know. And that's awesome, and I'm not going to, stand in the way of any of this or that or whatever, but you're like, why do I bring all this up? What does all that have to do with what this show's about? Because those words come up so much in the dating verse, in the lover sphere. Somebody asked me the other day if I still believed that someone who is single needs to move 700 miles every 7 years. And I said, yeah, I think everyone, if job and health permit, needs to move 700 miles every 7 years. I said it then, I say it now. I'm still, years into doing this show, both baffled and horrified, no longer surprised that something like 72% of people live within 20 miles of where they grew up, including a heck of a lot of people who live where I grew up, which is Westchester County, just north of New York City. Not a bad place to grow up, but, And you might think, oh, well, they like it there. They're comfortable. Their family is there, blah, blah, blah. Well, the number one determining factor in being content in life, and that is probably the lowest adjective I can give, content, happy in your existence, is your relationship and your relationship status. And if you've been kicking around that same sandbox for 3 or 4 decades and you still haven't found that, I don't think the convenience of being able to go to Sunday brunch with mom or counting on some spiked punch at your 20th high school reunion, I don't think that's going to be the magical solution. So get out. 70% of people have remote work capability or they currently work from home. Don't get me started on that, but that's just the reality of it. So if you can go remote, you can find a new home, a new city, a new sandbox. Your parents will be very happy to leave Syracuse to visit you at your new apartment in Charleston. It's really nice there. So you're like, what does that have to do with knowing and believing? Well, that philosophy, it's something that I really believe. The mechanism of how to execute it, something that I really believe. But I know, and I think you know, that your answer lies out of your comfort zone. And moving is getting you out of your comfort zone, and I think you know what that can do for you. So believing is holding an opinion. Knowing is to have a direct experience or to understand or to have like a practical knowledge, a practical understanding of some concept. So you may know that I'm right on this, but not want to believe it. Or maybe not want to recognize that you know it because believing otherwise is more comfortable. So it's a bit of a long setup on all this, but that's what I want to explore. How it helps, how recognizing what you don't know might help you believe, mostly in yourself. But I do know that we have to pay for things around here, so I have to take a quick break, and we will be back and get into all of it right after this. And we are back. I know what I like and don't like. That is such a common phrase, quote unquote. From the first time we say it as a kid, in order to refuse broccoli, up until the time we're adults and you're scrolling through Tinder only looking for blondes or guys that are over 6'4". I know what I like. And I'm always like, do you? Or do you know what is familiar? What you have tried? And if you've tried and you're still in this position, don't you really only know what is tried and failed? And you still don't know what works. You know, there's three sort of, I guess you can call them catchphrases, even though they're philosophies, but they're catchphrases that I am relatively famous for saying around here because we say them all the time and we say them very publicly and we've said them on television and we've said them in live shows. And I say them and they always sting a little bit, which means they do penetrate, which means they get a little bit beneath the hard shell of all of us. So we say that the women look for red flags and the men look for green lights. I think we're all in agreement on that one. I say that the women want the men to try harder and the men want the women to make it easier. I believe that. And yep, I think we all know it. But the third one is the important one. And I've said and will say, get rid of the words not my type. If you're over 30 and you're still single, you have no type. Your type isn't working out for you. And I believe that to be true, but in your heart of hearts, you absolutely know it. And everything that you're doing that prevents you from recognizing it is being done out of habit or comfort or circumstance or denial, but not out of logic. The logic is the ingredient that shifts the believing to the knowing. But I believe I need to marry a girl who went to an Ivy League school. So you take that phrase and you saying it and you sprinkle it with logic, and suddenly the result is you know. But what you know is that belief is absolutely ridiculous. I believe my ex has changed and I should give him another chance. And I'm on the side of, well, maybe they have. And as we said last week and many weeks, there's magic in maybe, because maybe is hopeful. And in the hope lies belief. And you always have to couch that belief with, I don't really know. And knowing that you don't know It'll lead you to be patient. It'll lead you to tread lightly, use logic, and make sure. But the belief drives the train, and the knowing is the destination. It's about recognizing the difference. Until you get there, you got to know what you don't know. And you might be listening and you think that I'm backtracking off the concept that believing is a good thing. I'm not. I think it is. I think it's often good enough. When you say, will you marry me? Or I do, it should mean, hopefully, that you believe that this person and this relationship is the happily ever after, to death do us part, and that they are the one to grow old and gray and loving with. But all you know is not just who they are in that moment. Hopefully you know who you are in that moment. And you don't know who or where you guys might be in life or career or parenthood or hopefully a new city or as a couple in 10 years or 20 years. You don't know the details. You believe in the future, and that belief can sustain a whole lot. I believe that this relationship can survive and thrive the ups and downs of life. That's awesome. Sign me up for that. I believe that this person will continue to grow and we will do the work necessary to maintain what we have and desire now and forever. Amen. But what you don't know, I'm not sure that's a bad thing. That's the mystery, and that could be the fun of it. The excitement. What lies ahead for us? And it might even be that the life that you've dreamed the reality might turn out to be beyond your dreams. And who wouldn't want that? Sometimes we need to expand what we believe is possible in order to discover something that is wonderful. That's all on the upside. So let's get back to the practicality of knowing what you don't know and not just knowing it, but admitting it. I know I wouldn't like something is some of the most dangerous line of thinking in just about anything. Al Michaels, the legendary sportscaster. Do you believe in miracles? Yes. He's never eaten a vegetable. He's very open about that. Talks about it all the time. He has never, literally never, not one, not spinach, not broccoli, not a carrot, not even an onion. He will order French onion soup and ask them to scrape off the onions. He's very open about that. His mother never made him. He's now 80 years old. He sustains himself pretty much on steak and dessert. He's very rich, so good steak and good dessert, but still, steak and dessert. And he looks fantastic, so he might be onto something. But that's not my point. I saw an interview he did where he was like, where the interviewer asked him, well, how do you know you wouldn't like it? And his answer was, I can tell. It just doesn't seem like something I would enjoy. Which I thought, God, that is a really narrow and stubborn way of thinking, obviously. But when he said it, I immediately thought of it in context of dating. Whether it's an activity or an experience or an encounter, just ruling something or someone out because you believe something, even when logic says you have no idea. Well, let's spell no idea with the K-N-O-W, because you don't know. And so knowing what you don't know is so valuable. I don't really know. I don't know that I won't like Brussels sprouts. I don't know if 3 wise men had gold, frankincense, and myrrh. I don't know if I would like a redheaded guy. That simple shift from I know this or I know that or I don't throws everything back into the believe column. And I think believe and that little wiggle room that's in there, I think that's the best part. The wiggle room is what allows for the fresh ideas and shifting perspective and the endless possibilities. You only know what you believe, but you need to know what you don't know. Because if you don't know, then you need to get started on that road to find out. Run along. Get on down the road. And this show, Great Love Debate, and us continually raising these questions in a quest to find answers. Just by doing it, we're admitting that we don't know. There's things that are opinion, there's things that are beliefs, and all we know is what we don't know, and that's why we consider doing it. That's what we do, and that's all we know. Belle Biv DeVoe. Now you know. Anyway, the much anticipated, always controversial list of the 10 worst cities in America to find love, that is imminent. It is right around the corner. We've been teasing it for a while. It is pretty much time to roll it out. We know that Seattle is one of them. And we believe Philadelphia is going to be one of them. But I shouldn't say that. The ballots are still being counted. The submissions are still coming in. So who really knows? But you will find out. So shoot us an email, greatlovedebate@gmail.com, with the who, what, where, when you think, believe, know, opine that your city deserves to be on this very, very prestigious list. Our very, very prestigious live tour kicks off our 11th season with our big celebrity-filled 10th anniversary show live February 6, 2024. I don't know when you're listening to this. If you're listening to 2026, you missed it. But if you're earlier, February 6, 2024 at the Boca Black Box Center for the Arts in lovely Boca Raton, Florida. And I know that your reviews still mean a lot in the podcasting ecosystem. Even the not flattering ones. And I saw some nutty one the other day who said, everything I talk about in the show is really about my political beliefs. It's not. It's rooted in logic. So have at it. So even the not flattering ones, I really don't mind them. Even if I know you are wrong. Go to Apple, Spotify, or wherever you enjoy your shows. Click 5 stars. Leave whatever you want. Because your opinion matters. And as always, at The Great Love Debate, we never stop making love. See you next time.